All right, everybody. Looks like we're getting into the action here. Looks like it's happening. I am your host, DarfMike, going to be taking you through the action this evening. Going to be watching a game between Dogs of War and Arial Rise here on Overpass. Knife round getting underway to figure out the side. Of course, you generally speaking want to start over on the CT side, though it's not maybe the most major of inconveniences. Thrilling conclusion of the knife round as it is going to be Arial Rise getting their pick, almost certainly starting on that CT side. Indeed, they will right off the bat. And we're going to get straight into the game, which is good to hear. I am very excited to check out these two rosters. I'm honestly not familiar with many of the players on either side. It's a new advanced season and always exciting at times for players to prove themselves and come up through the ranks. And I'm eager to get a little bit of a peek inside, peek under the hood. I don't always get much of an opportunity to check out advanced, but it's always a pleasure to do so. Heavy utility early on here for the CT side, a little unusual. They're going to be picking up a kit on Gwag, and Sensors got a molly and a flash. You just don't see this very often from a CT side, so presumably he's got a pretty definite plan going for it. Toad gonna walk out, checking towards connector and getting his head ripped off immediately as a result of it. That's going to be a punishing result, but nice play from Alvin, who manages to echolocate the player in smoke, planting the bomb, takes the taps, and will at least deny that for a moment. Second frag as well for Hate, now brings the numbers even. This is good damage done. Now this is getting a little more interesting. Yes, you've got one player who's very low on Gwag, but that may not matter as Hate is continuing to do damage, and other bodies are falling. Look at the health, though. These remaining CTs, so very vulnerable. If they're just sticking the plan, which well, they're not quite yet. Gwag not sticking to it, and this could get awkward indeed, as there's just not the health to hold on once the pincer comes in. If they had full stuck it before the player managed to get in through heaven, maybe that works out, but they're paranoid that he's going to strike at any moment. And so it is going to be a pistol round won by the Dogs of War. Ultimately, the damage they did was just enough to whittle it all the way down. Just making sure my audio sounds good here. If there's any concerns with that, please do let me know in chat. I can't really check it while I'm casting, so I rely on you. Got a pretty heavy buy right off the... Oh, what is this? What is this? What? Gwag has bought a Negev. A glass cannon Negev at that on this force buy. I have never seen this. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen this in all of my casts. I'm trying to think. Has anyone ever memed this up? Negevs have been memed before, but I've never seen a glass cannon Negev second round, I don't think. This is truly meta-defining. We're on Gwag Cam now. I really don't care about what happens in the rest of this round. I want to know what the saga of this Negev is going to be. Right now, Dogs of War are being very passive, hanging back quite far. They don't want to risk this at all. Looks like they're eventually going to start to float over towards a B exec, just start to move a little bit of presence, but without even control outside monster, they have to clear that out as they go. Got Ashen as their first prong, as their sort of probe with that Mach 10, which makes a lot of sense. And there's actually a heavy presence in here for Arial Rise. They're well positioned to deal with this. There's going to be the spot towards the barrels. There's a chance to do a lot of damage here. Hate's going to find one. He's looking for more. They're charging forward, but Hate holding on, and Gwag goes out with the USP instead of the Negev to try and get a little bit more motion on. Does nothing with that rifle, or I don't even know if it's a rifle. I don't think I can really call it a rifle. It's a cannon. A true cannon. And he's not going to use it. So, Sensor, last alive. Try to do a little something here. Glass chain gun. Yeah, that's the one. I don't think he's going to find much. Maybe an exit if someone gets a little too frisky on the hunt. There's nothing really worth taking out of his hands. He doesn't have a Negev after all, so, not a major investment here. Got the Dupree stickers slapped on the Deagle, though, so it's gonna give you a little bit of extra power. They will survive with 4 alive. That's a very good second round for Dogs of War. The force buy is overcome with flying colors, and at this point, they're going to have pretty fresh money as they take on what is presumably just going to be an eco. Although I guess we could see some more glass cannon Negevs. That's a possibility. $1,700 gun, which is insane still. I mean... Alright, a couple upgraded extra pistols. I want that to come back. I want to see the Negev again. Because I'm trying to think about how it would actually work. And honestly, in Connector, I could see it working. if you get like a 3-person rush up connector and you just turn the corner spraying with a negative, if they don't one-tap you pretty quick, I could see annihilating those players pretty quick. Just chewing through them, ripping damage off of their bones. Lots of damage done, speaking of which, but here's a flank on the flank. Late in is going to be Hydra. He's vulnerable, and the problem if he goes down here, his gun is completely isolated. That's not going to happen, though. Hydra is definitely up to the task, does the damage. Finds the upgrade onto the Deagle as well, and they won't be able to steal away that rifle. Unfortunately for the CT side, it was actually a decent setup to try and take advantage of that. And, well, Sensor's going to get one. A little careful about getting out. They're actually looking for a second shot. Can't quite connect. So much damage done. So close to a frag here. 2 players very low. But they will survive. They will make it happen. And again, 4 players up. So an easy cruise through economically. Now you've got a situation where they don't even really have to roll a bonus round. They're just going to do full rifles since the SMG was the only thing lost. And they bought into rifles early on. An op-out for Arial Rise in their first proper gun round. No negatives to spot. This is going to get interesting, and it looks like the op's going to take aggression towards B. Typically, you'll see early peaks from a lot of teams head towards Fountain, see if they can't get aggressive there, catch people off before they necessarily anticipate an op in play. But this is a really heavy emphasis on the lower site. Just going to be Sensor jump spotting around the flower pots. He sees that flash. He sees a player. He's going to get the heck out of dodge. Bring in a rotate as well. And just try and keep them at bay. They're continuing to use utility to take ground here towards long. That's a deep smoke, and they're not really in position to capitalize on it yet. But it does mean Sensor is out on an island. Knows the player's coming around the corner, wants to take the aggression on his own term, and will succeed in doing so. Does he anticipate the second player on the spot? Not quite quick enough. Smoke goes down, but it doesn't bloom in time, and he will be traded out. The position, again, lost for that CT side. Boom, use it in advanced playoffs at Banana on Inferno. I believe it. Again, like, there are certain positions where I guess situationally it could be quite good. And Boomy does love himself. The negative, per my knowledge. Nice kill from Gwag. Now that gives the advantage back towards his roster. Still want to go for this A exec, but they know there's presence here at the bathrooms, and now they've lost their own. Yes, they're going to have the site. They're going to have players at their back, but it's up to Walker to deal with these players. It's a little awkward, but he will eventually line up the shots. Problem is, by the time he does, he's going to leave Ashen to get the numbers punched in and to try and defend the bomb against 3. They can take their time as well. They've got a kid on Gwag. So they can wait for the pressure to mount, and there's the double swing. Well, Gwag will lose his life. It is immediately traded. Hate should be able to get the defuse. Actually, Alvin will hop on it first. And there's plenty of time for that full 10 seconds. So Arial will rise. They will get their first round on the board. Guns out. And they've got a little bit of action going. As we were talking about, especially with the plant, it's going to be just fine for the Dogs of War. They have cash for days, having only lost 4 in both of their gun rounds. And they going to be rolling here. Rolling. So now what do we have? Gwag not as aggressive into the connector, and this is the round where he would have actually gotten some action there. They're going to boost up. You like this boost. Frequently you'll see a player actually look through the tiny window over towards the fountain area, but I think they read this pressure coming up from connected. They've got some sort of an idea that this is happening, and oh, it might be rewarded. Sensor waiting for this payoff. Are they going to come around the corner? Never mind. Timing. Brutal. Just as it might have been paying off. They fall off of it. That's a very strange smoke. That has to be a miss throw. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that could possibly be trying to block off. Player standing on top of fountain is covered by that. Not sure who threw that, but probably not where they intended it to go. Flash out, but not everyone is blinded. It was heavy T present there, and specifically Walker's going to get 2 big op kills coming in. Walker making it happen. He's the Texas Ranger in this round. And well, Alvin will be able to get 1. He's quite low, and he's got players flooding around him. Support coming in from Hate, but it may not be quick enough. Interestingly, they don't push into water. But around the edge of the smoke, they're going to be able to take advantage of him. Going to be able to abuse his position. At this point, Hate should be considering getting out of there, getting the save. But he's going to press forward, trying for the 1v3, and one already found. But position now known and damage done as he rounds the lip of the sidewalk. He is going to get caught out by the op of Walker. That was a 3K for Walker in the round. Beautifully done. Strong op play early on to retake momentum here on overpass. There we go. Sensor gets one. The triple boost paying off. But it's traded. This is getting so messy. 2 kills for Toad. The Deagle going huge over on construction in this round. Should have been a cakewalk. Should have been easy, but now it's anything but, as everything's left to Ashen to try and recover the ashes of what once was. Toad's going to sit on the bomb, try and hatch it like an egg. And as we know, when a Toad tries to hatch an egg, that's how you get a Basilisk. That Basilisk is going to bite the Dogs of War and send them whimpering on home. Now that's what we call an obscure reference. But what a round to steal away for Arial Arise. Just Deagles. I mean, not even much in terms of armor. And they make it happen. Woof! Nice shot out there from Elvin as they try and come charging out with Deagles. Just gets the one pick, falls away. Has to be a little careful here. Support's falling off, and so should he. And indeed, he will. He's got no more chipmunks in support. Ashen low, Ashen dead. Took 2 bites to finish his supper, but finish his supper he did. Although that may have just been the appetizer. The full course may be coming his direction, and now he's got a lot of friends around the table to eat dinner with him. Taking it a little slower. They've still got a minute, but as they round the corner, there's going to be nothing but pain to await them. That actual first missed shot made me nervous for Sensor. Thought we were going to get a little bit of a mix-up here, but the kill does ultimately come in. Continuing to do so. The op is watching. Everything's on to Consti, who is quite low. 16 health. Maybe find an extra kill, but through the smoke. Sensor spam will eventually connect with the dome of all things. And Arial Arise will draw it ever closer to a tied scoreline. And so now we're going to get another gun round, but it's not going to be an op for Dogs of War. And based on how good Walker's been with that big green gun, that's a major concern for them. That is a major piece of their arsenal not in the picture. They do have rifles, only Ashen really limited, and it's got massive utility to back it up, or at least 2 flashes and a smoke. Define that how you will. Let's see what they do. Since that first round with the negative, there really hasn't been much in terms of connector presence, and Sensor looks like he wants to rectify that situation. Actually double pushing it, Quag and Sensor, and without the op, Walker can't hang on. So now the middle of the map is cut off. There's 3 players in towards construction, but they don't have the bomb. So even if they take the site at this point, they're going to have to rotate off, and here's the read. They've heard the boost up. There's going to be a molly in, and it's a massacre. The trap is sprung, and its steel jaws will lock around the legs of the Dog of War. A lot of health has been done, or a lot of health has been taken, rather. Arial Arise are quite low. I don't know what that call is from Consti to drop the bomb again. You do eventually have to bring the bomb with you. And when there's only 2 of you left, someone better get it. I guess that's Parar's job. Parar's? Figuring out how I want to approach that name in particular. I guess we'll go with Parar's. Feels like the emphasis could be changed up on that one. This is a great setup for Arial Arise, though. Yes, the health is low. But especially with the op, that's not made you so much of a concern. But the problem is out in the open. Consti doesn't even get a shot to connect back the other direction. Toad so low. Well, maybe just 1. Down to 2 HP, but that is going to be enough. And Parar's coming around the corner will get caught. No chance to escape. That's nicely done from Arial Arise. They're keeping this close. They're tying it up now, and they're in pole position to take the lead. The money's gone from the Dogs of War. They didn't get a plant out of that, so they will not be able to afford a buy. The loss bonus is mounting, though, so at this point, with every bomb plant, they'll pretty much be able to get one up. Should they continue to lose rounds, of course. Some B-250s, a Deagle. Teensy bit of utility to get them towards the site, but nothing for once they're actually there. Here it is. It's a massacre, a dangerous one at that. Glag now knocking down all comers, taking the pins down, but he's lost his life, and that's 2 rifles retrievable for these remaining 2 players. Ashen and Consti now have a little something to work with here. Yes, it's still a man advantage for Arial Arise, but I don't know that that was necessarily the result they were hoping for out of that position. And now things get messy. Still no armor, so they will melt like butter on a hot day. But that requires you shoot at them. Toad gonna do exactly that. Leaves everything to Consti to try and clutch. Well, he will find the first and continue to make this a very expensive round indeed. He's still got Alvin to contend with on towards the site. That means this is going to be tough to get a bomb plant. 55 seconds, though. Lots of time. Consti does not need to make a decision immediately. Consti can drag this out. Take their time. See what they can find. That is a pretty knife. The classic fade. Oof, you gotta love it. So shiny, folks. So shiny. Going on the wrong side of the dice box. This could be dangerous. Although, if he doesn't check into bank, actually, this plant can come through. Starts to punch the numbers. Alvin's coming up. Doesn't want to quite give away the audio cue. And is going to eventually hit the shot. Consti seemed to anticipate it. May have actually seen the op gun barrel come up before. But the defuse will come in. And it's going to be another round for Arial Arise. Still for the Dogs of War, considering what they brought into the round, considering the damage that they did, taking 3 bodies out, getting a bomb plant, that is perfectly fine. Giving extra time for Hate to get whatever he was going to get off of the drop bodies. But they will take the lead. Long term, you want to clean those rounds up a little bit. You'd rather maybe 1 extra kill for that setup out towards long, even if you do eventually lose it. But winning the round, you prevent catastrophe. Looks like heavy aggression in towards the connector. Might just be to set up Alvin here and give him some support. So if this is a take towards A, I kind of like this idea. It's a cheeky setup. It'll usually get you a 1 and done. The only problem is if they follow it up with a Molotov and they've got a player in towards construction, like, I don't know what they do right now. It's really tough to deal with. Fortunately for them, there's no one top stairs, so it's not a concern. And if they try and rotate here, that's going to be punishing. They'll hear the information on the door close, know that bodies are here. The rotations will have to all come in from the flank, but Hate getting a pick at least makes this a bit easier. He's traded, though, and out the smoke is a second. The trap's been sprung on the flank, but they've already lost the site, and so it's going to be a full retake for the CTs. Likely a bomb plant as well, as that smoke is just about to fade. Bomb does go down. Counter utility coming in from the CTs who are trying to make this happen. This duel towards Monster could be critical here. Walker looking for it. The timing not with him. But he's come back the other direction and found a pick here instead. Walker. I thought that was his shot for a second. Looked like he was off of it. But instead it's Parar's. Now everything on Desensor. Not the health to do this. Trying to just get the op and get out of there, I believe, at this point. Indeed, that's going to be the object of his affections. Molly goes down to secure it. Was maybe hoping for a smoke, but the Molly will work. And now a smoke down means that a player is going to chase, so that's an easy pick to find. It's a really big telegraph of what's happening there. But he will survive. The money's not really good enough on Dogs of War to throw guns away unnecessarily like that. And I think smoking that and then running through is maybe just a little too blatant of a telegraph on the play. Although you're just hoping in that situation that he's full sprinting away. And you're going to catch him in behind. Doesn't quite happen there. See what we got. See what the changeup is from the Dogs of War. They have claimed this round. They got a bit of an advantage. They're going to lose a pick early on. That's towards the construction. And now another boost up. This is so bold. And Consti can punish it. He's found one and finds a boost on the site. Guarantee was not expecting that. Flabbergasted he is. Oh, and the flash peek is beautiful. What a setup. Hate perfectly times that flashbang, and the peek is wonderful. Toad's going to get a follow-up. This is all falling apart for the Dogs of War. They got Arial Arise nipping at their heels. Just going to be Hydra. As soon as he comes down this ladder, Gwag should have him dead to rights. And indeed he does. So 6th round for Arial Arise. They retake the lead once more. They're making this work on the CT side of Overpass. You kind of expect this once they start to get healthy, once they get that op consistently out there, once they have all the utility. It just tends to skew pretty comfortably. I'd say probably more of a 9-6 at this point, or at this level of play. We'll see if they can match that scoreline. It's going to be an eco for the Dogs of War. They will have plenty of cash for the op when they eventually do want it. It looks like they're going to go for a straight-out play. This time, it's a blender they run into as Hate and Alvin just annihilate the take, and Hate wants a little more. Wanted the 4K. It's Alvin who cleans it up, and Hate's body, it hits the dirt. But the only casualty for Arial Arise. This time, they convert the anti-eco very nicely. So now you're sitting good. You're sitting pretty. You've got a big old cushion. You've got a player at almost 8K. You've got 3 more above 5. Lots of cash left in the tank. Only Hate who might struggle, and there's plenty of money to drop him whatever he could possibly want. Unless he wants an M249, in which case your finances might struggle a bit. Gwag again trying to go for the aggressive play. This is the setup. They both approach. It's a triple peek, if you will. Out long and out fountain at the same time. Walker's just trying to hold us back, but with the op, wants to be careful about not getting overrun, so this ground's going to be taken. Not so much damage done. Walker punished, unable to get the trade frag, and he's the player who's responsible for retrieving the bomb, so he's got to get out of there with that parcel of explosives. Dogs of War, once again, looking fenced in. Looking like they've been taken to the pound, like they've been locked up, like they've been told they can't run in this particular junkyard. Trying to make a bit of an individual play, make this happen, but blinded up in an unfortunate time will now be completely out in the open and sold up river. And that's just going to be a shutdown round again, this time with even 5 alive. Arial Arise have hit another gear. They've settled on into this game, and they are cruising right now. They have hit cruising altitude, and all engines are very healthy. It's a pretty even performance across the board as well, which you always love to see from a team. No one's really an outstanding performer right now. No one's really lagging. I guess Walker disconnected, reconnected. He was actually the best performer for his team. I think he still is. I think he's on 10 kills at this point, cumulatively in the round, but that'll reset, obviously, with a disconnect, reconnect. Taking some ground out towards long. It's a lot of space being given to them. They don't have the bomb with them. If they did, they'd get a bomb plant out of this. Instead, they're going to start to lose bodies around the bathrooms. That boost up was effective. Again, positioning's going to get weird, and I don't know if Arial Arise is going to read this properly. They will indeed. Toad cues onto the fact that they could be out long. He's going to punish them for it. While there will be kills that go against them, and it gets a little expensive, it now means that the players are isolated. And this is just left to Hydra to try and make noise to distract for Ashen long enough that Ashen can actually get onto that B bomb site. Hate's just watching this, though. Hate shouldn't give it up. And now they're rotating off, so the second player may come in as well. Ashen will get the bomb in. No molly now means this can't be denied. Hate actually did have a molly. Could have thrown that. Missed opportunity to deny this plant, to deny money. But Ashen now in a 1v2. Deagle in hand. Oh, that was a massive opportunity. And here's a second as well. They keep giving him faces. There's no reason to do that. Now the molly goes in, but it doesn't quite block Ashen off. Limits the room that Ashen can maneuver, but ultimately will be Toad to put him down. Defuse in, and now Arial Arise. They've certainly gotten that 9th round. They're looking like they might just get double digits. One last hurrah in this half for the Dogs of War. See if they got some bite behind that bark. Full util up. Op as well, 3 Kriegs. Strong buy for the T side. Auto sniper for sensor. Where do you play with an auto on overpass? Connector, I guess? And connector it is. The boost up. They're trying this setup again, but this time with an auto. Curious. And they're getting... I think they heard the scope in. Consi's not reacting to it. I guess not. There's 2 players down here in connector. That's just some spam. The nade doesn't actually connect either, so now they've got a ton of information as to the positioning. But no damage done yet. Going a little wild here, a little counter meta, getting a little creative with their setups are Arial or Eyes. First pick will go against them though, so maybe that counter meta is not necessarily working out. Hate, good shot there. Trying to control this water position, continuing to let blood from his opponents. Can't quite line up that shot, but he's done a ton of damage. And HE would seal the deal there, but no more are available for his squad. And now a retake with an auto sniper, a bit tricky. Sensor was thinking about swapping to the AWP. Swaps to the auto instead. The AWP might have been done better in that phase. Did get 1 shot off, and that shot would have been a kill. Oh. Toad. He's overlooking the pillar position. He realizes! Beautiful response from Toad. A 4K in the round to secure the double-digit round here. To secure the 10-5. To secure a dominant half, especially considering the Dogs of War got off to a hot start. That's quite a wild showing out from Arial or Eyes. Once the guns came out, they just settled in beautifully down the stretch and really put their stamp on this half. We'll see if they've got the similar plan for T side, but if they do, expecting this to be a relatively quick game. Dogs of War are going to need to come out barking. They're going to need to make the players on Arial or Eyes think to themselves, well, who let the dogs out? I wonder if I... So it's curious. That was a... The CS community is young. I wonder if that's even still a relevant reference to most people. What year did Who Let the Dogs Out come out? $2000. That is a 20-year-old song. Isn't that insane? I just feel old now. Speaking of feeling old, whoever loses this one might be feeling so old they're ground to dust. It's a pretty critical pistol round for Dogs of War. Lots of room for Arial or Eyes to get back on track, even if they do lose it. But this would be a bit of a gut punch, a bit of a deflating blow if Arial or Eyes could land it. Walker. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's been good. Been good with the AWP typically, but frequently AWPers are great with the pistols. And the first kill is actually going to go the way of Arial or Eyes. The bomb's already planted, so at the least they've got that money secured. But Hydra and Parars, they're dropping bodies. They're making this happen. They've got an advantage for their squad going through the smoke. Parars is going to do more. Parars with the 4K. Beautiful work with the USP to secure the pistol round, to secure the second half start for the Dogs of War. we go. A little bit of a slower round. There's still 3 nades available for Arial or Eyes. Not quite sure what the plan is for that. Presumably they identify the location of a player and they just nade the ever-loving bejesus out of it. Oh, it's going to be the nades into barrels. Do they land? Do they connect? No. No. They're also a little disjointed. And not quite deep enough. Parars was actually vulnerable to those nades. But maybe need to work on that lineup just a bit more. Speaking of which, Parar's gonna get 2. As a result of not being needed out of the position, he's doing quite a bit of damage with it. Now Ashen and Paras, dynamic duo here. Doing a pretty good job of securing this hold. Yes, 1 kill will go back against them, but I don't imagine that's going to turn into too much more. And multiple of these kills came with SMGs as well, at least 2 of them. It's a nice little bit of extra bank as the Dogs of War look to build. But here's going to come the first buy round. Arial Rise did not emphasize too much in that second round, so now they're going to be able to invest. Oh, nice damage through the panel spam here for Toad. Connects onto Ashen, gonna set him back a little bit to start out the round. Boost up from Hydra. What are we looking for this? Might just catch them as they come through the tunnels. Oh, timing gonna be everything here. It's like watching a moth come to a flame. Paraz as well is in position. Gonna get the swing on a second because they're distracted. This works beautifully for the Dogs of War. The setup pays off in a big way. And that is just nicely done. It's exactly how they drew it up. Dueling smokes here to try and control space towards long. And I don't know if they're gonna realize that Hate's actually gotten out. Jump up on the dice box. This is a bold play, but it could yield huge results. Problem is the flashbang is at just the wrong time, and now I think there was a drop, so they should have a Q off, but they can't quite find the kill immediately. Oh, he had a chance to do a ton of damage there. Couldn't quite make it work, but that was dangerous indeed. Consti will corral it. Consti will get a 3rd kill to boot, and the Dogs of War slowly but surely are bringing this closer to a tied game. So early on here, Dogs of War just going to hang out pretty passive in towards the sites. There's no real reason to get aggressive. They know they're in an anti-eco, so why bother giving up any damage early on? Heavy presence in connector. Doesn't really find anyone to spring upon. They were hoping maybe to isolate 1 player somewhere on the periphery of the map, but it's not being given to them. Dogs of War is very far back into the sites. Setting up a bit of a turret. They've got the op towards the bank car. Got a player playing Optimus. The only problem here in this kind of a round, right, is if they have smokes, and they don't even need too many smokes. If they have 2 smokes, they can drop the smokes in towards site, push the op back through it, and either isolate 1 player to a duel with a bunch of pistols, or set up a bomb plant regardless. And Hate is actually going to get a kill here. Problem is the flanks now come through, and it's been realized. So that 1 kill will be all she wrote. No chance for a bomb plant whatsoever. But there are some major concerns with the way Dogs of War is playing these anti-ecos. I like patience. I like passiveness. But you got to be a little careful on that A bomb site. A lot of the control comes with the ability to shoot and fall back. And if you limit yourself into the site proper, if they hit fast, you've got no room to retreat. Just something to keep an eye on here as we keep going. Arial Rise. Gonna have another buy. No op available. Although T side of overpass, it's maybe a little less critical. Reminder again, Walker, the opper for the Dogs of War side, is actually, I believe, on 14. I believe I don't think he's quite leading his team, but he's pretty high up there. Disconnected, reconnected. Not sure what the deaths are. Bit of a bait setup here. You got the 1 player, and then you get the player ducking behind, playing anti-flash. And here's going to be the take. Arial Arise might just rise to the occasion. Oh, this is a very good setup for this play. There's the flash. The second, neither player is blind. This should be a massacre. The trap was sprung. They actually get a 1-for-1 trade. Considering how well set up the CTs were for that play, this is not a bad result. But Alvin wants to force the issue. He's anticipating that the presence in towards bathrooms will have distracted the player on site, and he correctly surmises that that's the time to strike. So a second kill for Alvin. And again, despite a really good setup there for the Dogs of War, aerial rides get the better of them. Sometimes it just comes down to the duel. And now there's 50 seconds still on the clock, and the Dogs of War are split up. They're actually emphasized on to the A-bomb site, and the rotations coming through here for aerial arrives. They're actually taking the lower bomb instead. So this is going to be a bomb plant, and the money justifies going for it, certainly. The Dogs of War should go for this retake, but there's a bunch of utility still on this aerial rise side, so they can take the site, and if they don't spend too much of it in the process, they're likely going to be able to secure this post plant pretty effectively. Now the nades will sail in, smokes out, bomb's going to be planted. The jig is up, the Dogs of War know. But by the time they get here, that bomb will be firmly down. That's a huge shot to find for Toad, and now 1v3. Parars really needs to decide if he wants to take this. He will find the first. Does he clear low? He does, but Gwag gets the uppercut shot. Nicely done indeed. For aerial arrives, as they will keep off the Dogs of War, at least for the moment. To beat them back with a stick, they maintain their lead. Expanded to 2. As we said, though, there was plenty of cash to justify the attempted retake. It's going to be a full buyback here. No real concerns, no real limitations. And there we go. Sets it up for Walker. Just a pop of the door and a frag found, and that's a great way for the Dogs of War to take an early advantage. Arial Rise had a player completely isolated there in towards the connector. And that player has been isolated and exterminated. And you can see they're sort of stopped in the tracks for the moment. They're taking a little bit of control outside the bathrooms. They're starting to inch forward, but this is common between these two teams. They've left the bomb back. The idea is that Toad will swing back around and pick that up to join his team. And he will be able to, but look at this position from Consti. He has split the attack. He is right between them. Is Alvin going to clear this? Are they going to check for it? Oh no, Hate walks out, doesn't realize that no one has any control towards Long. I don't know what the communication was there, but that's a major mental lapse for Hate. Gonna cost him his life in exchange of no damage. Walker's mollied out of position and actually blinded up. Burns entirely trying to squeeze off an op shot, but you've still got Consti here at Long, who can do some damage. He can make a nuisance of himself, and he can deny the plant as well, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. Toad's just gonna try and stick it, but Conti's here. Toad does get that kill. That might allow him the chance to get the bomb down. Gonna go for more, though. And this is so bold. There's two players right around the corner. Toad nearly lines up the headshot. Had an opportunity to really make a highlight reel play out of that. But 2 kills is going to be all she wrote. And now we're 1 round away from it being tied up. And it's looking like it might just be an armor pistol buy over for the T side. This is presumably what the pause is being called to talk about. T's need to make a critical decision regarding their economy going forward, regarding whether they're going to allow this to become a tied scoreline with lackluster weapons, or whether they're going to risk it all and go for the force. So here we go. It is going to be the Deagles. Not, well, a little bit of an investment on Gwag. Might be a bit limited going forward. There's actually a lot of utility here available for this T side as well. So what's the plan with all this util? You've got a million flashes. Only 1 smoke at this point. But 1 million flashes. We can blind them for days. You can pretty much flash them for a full minute here. If you throw them right. Nades in. They're going to attempt it again. Tons of damage. This time it connects. They got the line at this time around, and Paraz, he is annihilated. So the nade stack pays off. The smoke's going to go through, and here is the hit on. One body already dropped. The problem is the third rotator's already come through, so there's heavy defense here for the CTs, but that may not matter if they're exterminated, and Gwag is connecting one after another. That's going to be a bomb plant for sure, and Walker looks like he wants to try and deny this, but at this point he's got to be careful not to lose his life. Wants to work in concert with his teammate. Maybe thinking about the boost up here, but I love this position. It's the uppercut shot from Gwag. He's going to hold it. As they come around the lip, has an opportunity to just shred ahead. Just has to have nerves of steel here. They're starting to walk out. Missed shot, but redemption on the third. Beautifully done for Gwag. They get themselves a rifle, they get themselves an op, and they make it work with the Deagles. So even taking the conservative call out of that pause, waiting it up, just investing in a little bit of utility, they make this happen. They keep their lead up 12-10, and that's around the Dogs of War are going to be kicking themselves for. You can't lose against the Ecos, especially when you're so close to tying it up. And now look at their economy. It's garbage. It's in the trash. This is a double Eco situation. Actually, it wasn't. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I suppose it was. Just barely. They probably could have gotten away with a single Eco. Would have had a lackluster buy, though, so they decide to invest here in some Deagles. They get a trade frag initially, but they've got no presence on towards B, so this is going to be a bomb plant. It's a minute 25 on the clock, and the bomb's already approaching to go down. It's just a murder snake here in connected. It's all they've got. Just the absolute murder snake. And Gwag going to have an opportunity. He's found the first. He's got the tail off the snake, if you will. They've split up the murder snake. They've shifted it around. And now I think Alvin might be the next to connect. Indeed he is. Finds one. And the second. Easy peasy. Same angle. Doesn't even have to change his crosshair. Just has to hit A and W. AK found for Paraz. Ooh, it's been spotted. Got to get out of there. Got to save the AK. That's all that matters right now. Molly down. They might just run through it. Gwag does indeed. And that's going to catch him off guard. Doesn't anticipate that play. Gwag, very smart to catch him off guard. Keep him off balance. To secure a 13th round. It's kind of all coming crashing down for the Dogs of War. They kept it so close. They've been nipping at the heels of Arial Arise this whole game. All game long. Or at least since the second half, rather. But Arial Arise, as we saw in the first half, things kind of settled in for them. They hit a second gear. They're doing it again. And they're doing it at a critical time, and now the economy is so messy for Dogs of War that they're going to have to take an eco here and presumably, barring catastrophe, allow round number 14. It's a stack. They've got no information here. Arial Arise wants to hit fast, and it's a little risky as the stack is in fact up. They're revealing nothing, but with the rifles, they're keeping those pistols at bay. They're plucking the stack one by one, and it may not matter. Sure, you might have everybody here, but it doesn't matter if you can't even hit us. And they're going to get out without a single speck of damage. They run into a stack, and they dismantle it so efficiently that they're full health. 5 across the board, and 100 health. Beautifully done. You can't do better than that in actual execution. Someone's been playing retake servers. Was an attempted boost up here. Oh, it's a little late. They're already past. Do they know? Gwag's head is vulnerable. He's going to peer up, but no, Hydra. They realize what's going on. They do the damage. They find the kill for free, and that's a question of you got to be there so fast with the boost. If there's really any hesitation or any fumbling, it's so easy for it to fall apart. So now they've implanted a player here through construction. Toad's just going to hang out, control this section of the map. They molly him out of position. That's for the flick. That's a peek. Beautifully done with the 2 pieces of utility. The molly to push him out of the spot. The flash to blind him up. And the kill to come through. So that Toad is cooked. But actually, interestingly, losing the life here sends Arial Arise back this direction. This is a curious read. It's almost like they say, yes, you got to pick here. But maybe that'll make you think we're not going to hit this side. Unfortunately for them, that's not the case. Dogs of War are heavily reinforced. They've got a boost up with the op. Their pillar player has been annihilated. So it's all going to be on to Walker in this AWP. And he's got to pick his poison as to which direction he looks. He's found the first, falls off of it. But smoke's down now, or at least going to guarantee the plant. And there's still even numbers. I say going to guarantee it. Look at how aggressive they are, flying through the smoke, trying to get forward. The numbers will be punched in, but Walker's right here with the AWP, and he's got support from his teammates as well. Problem is now, late utility comes in, and they've managed to slip away. Arial Arise not caught. And now, as this smoke fades, there's not proper utility to lock off construction here. They're just going to have to rely on the AWP to do so, I believe. They do have the firepower for it, but Alvin's starting to whittle away at that firepower. They're going to have to focus in on this construction play. And meanwhile, from Monster, the trap can be sprung. That's the timing is beautiful, but Hate can't quite slip out. Walker just has enough time with the found kit to get the defuse in to keep the Dogs of War alive. Just barely they survive. But herein comes the problem of just barely surviving in this round. Their money. It's not great. It's not ideal. If they lose this round, there's going to be nothing left to buy into the next. This is actually interesting. They're spreading it around. They're making it work. They're trying to keep a little bit in reserve by going for FAMASs. Emphasizing the utility. Getting the MP9 and Ashen. The FAMI are out. Still, it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow if they do lose this. Their loss bonus isn't great. 1900. It would probably pretty much be the game over. Recognizing this opportunity, Arial Arise presumably feeling a bit of tension in this round, but they know that if they can close it out, if they can win this one round on T side, this game should be in their pocket. The boost up again. God, they love the boost up. They love this boost. Problem is, when you get too consistent about it, it's very easy to punish. Even if you just have the lineup, the pre-fire. And you can tell they're looking for it. There's the spot, but Hydra makes it work this time. Peers up at just the right time. Isn't punished. So that's a nice result. They were even watching for it. Arial Arise know they have to watch for it, but they just didn't quite have that one tap. Problem is, when you have an AK on the other side, it's not that hard to spot to one tap. This time it seems Arial Arise, after losing that first pick, they want to test the other site. Not going to deal with this. Oh, no. Oh, thought Hate had that. Would have been a catastrophe for Walker. He's actually going to get the player out towards Optimus. Sets his teammate up for the assist, rather. Was blinded, didn't realize he hadn't finished off that kill, so Bomb's going to go down, and a man disadvantage and the money in the toilets. This is a risky play now for Dogs of War. They have to make this work, and they'd love to make it clean. That's not an option anymore. And Censor's now brought it to the 1v1. He's putting a new magazine in the gun. This is so risky. Walker's going to swing it with the op, and there it is. Censor may have just won this game for his team. The 4K in the round to come up huge at the right time. 15-11 now. Map point secured. And the money vaporized for the Dogs of War. These puppies might just be going on home. They are looking lackluster right now, and there's just nothing left in the tank economically. They've got a bit of utility. They've got a single kit, Deagles, a scout of all things, and an MP9. Meanwhile, a storm waiting for them at their gates. Full util, full rifles across the board, an Arial Arise that's chomping at the bit to seal this win, to take this game, to notch another one in the win column here in advanced. They've had a great start. One win already. This would be the second. We'll see how it shakes out. Consti trying to get a bit aggressive. Wants to go through the smoke. This would be so bold. It's going to make it work. A bit of a one-way there around the bench, and they haven't been able to trade it. They will eventually find him through it. So not a catastrophe yet, and actually a pretty good trade for the T's, considering that was one of the few upgraded guns. It's not a Deagle. Now it seems a hit's going to come towards the B-bomb site, but a quick pick for Hydra might just make this a little bit easier to hang on. Nades are sailing in, utility as well to clear the path, to clear the way, to herald the coming of the fury of Arial Arise. And this gets ever tougher. Each passing moment, big pick for Censor. He had a huge round in the last. He's making it happen again. He'll be dropped, so silence after just the 1 kill, but that may have just been enough. It all rests on Walker's shoulders. Only a scout, not the op he favors. And out in the open, he has dropped. He is down. He is dusted. It is all over. That's the game, folks. Thank you so much for coming in. Now we're just going to hop over to my big old webcam, which the lighting is ruined on right now. Hang on 1 second. There we go. There we go. Much better. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you to the dogs, or sorry, not them, the other team, Arial Rise, the channel that I'm on. Can you tell my brain is a little fuddled right now? Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Congratulations on the win. That was a solid performance. I was especially impressed by the team and the fact that they seemed to strengthen down the stretch of each half. That's unusual for any team, really. That's definitely unusual for a team competing in advanced. So impressive to see, and it's a really good quality to have. 2 wins on the season already. Really nice start. Keep killing it, boys. That's going to be it from me. Thank you, everyone who tuned in to watch the game. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Have a great night.